The entire video for this continued motion to suppress hearing is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, so I've had to go through and select interesting and important moments. I will release more when the time is right. So the first clip is from 19 minutes into the hearing, where I was giving Judge Harry Freitas a list of exhibits that I would be entering. I was under the impression that any testimony made in this court was already part of the record and something that I could reference. But to be certain there were no games played, I offered a certified copy of the transcript from the March 30th, 2017 hearing with Officer Davies. In this initial segment, the judge and prosecutor know that I will be going after Davies on something from that transcript, so the prosecutor has already objected to me entering the transcript, even though, pursuant to the Hawaii Rules of Evidence, this is a self-authenticating piece of evidence as it's certified by a state clerk. The prosecutor was pretending as if I was going to go through line by line, which obviously is ridiculous. She already knew that I had started to call Davies out on a blatant inconsistency during the October 25th, 2018 hearing, which Judge Harry Freitas cut short just as I started that line of questioning. So both of them were there when I started to nail him on the fact that he had given two different answers to the basic issue of whether or not he had factual evidence indicating that I was the registered owner of the truck. So here's the video clip, and yes, that's the prosecutor spinning her chair around in a circle as I was making argument.
Go ahead. Ask your questions on Officer Davies.
I had the exhibit H. I was going to enter the transcripts.
Not yet. Are you going to ask him about that right now?
I can ask him about these other things first, okay, if you would prefer.
Ask him about those other things, because I tend to agree that the transcript in and of itself is not necessarily admissible, because I don't know what you're going to use it for.
Okay.
And what happened by another court and another ruling is nothing that's going to bind me as far as what I need to rule on. But if you're going to say he answered differently at some other date, then you can use that transcript and point that out.
So this next section is 1 hour and 50 minutes into the hearing, and you all just saw that I indicated that I wanted the transcript entered as Exhibit H. I didn't include every time I requested that, but there were requests just prior to the clip you just watched too. There was a section of a couple minutes where we were making discussion on these issues of exhibits. So here's where Judge Freitas states that this official testimony given in the courthouse while Officer Davies was under oath is not a part of the record. Let that sink in here, what he's doing. He's attempting to prevent me from referencing any of the testimony given by this officer on that date. And they've already gone back. I guarantee they went back and they looked at this and they realized that he filled out those citations with false information. And then when he went in to give testimony, he was giving false testimony. So you all, please give comments. Is this a fair hearing? Is this judge being fair to me? I've already made motions for him to recuse himself on other issues. The fact that he had additional hearings and didn't dismiss the alleged case at the very first hearing, where there were no oral charges entered by the prosecutor and there were no written charges entered by any prosecutor. And the judge admitted this on the record. So please be sure to comment below. Share these videos. I'm not getting any airing or any support by local media. They won't cover this. So either these judges are their guys, or they're part of an in-click or something, but the local media won't cover this. I actually sat with an editor that would not cover it. So again, here's the clip. So in testimony by Officer Davies on March 30th of 2017, he indicated under questioning that he did not believe, he had no reasonable suspicion that any criminal activity was occurring, and I can provide...
Judge, I'm going to object. That was not in evidence.
We're going to sustain the objection. That would have been something you could have provided at your side of the testimony or things if you wanted, or while Officer Davies was present, you could have asked him that question, but you did neither. So at this point, I'm not going to start taking in the...
So testimony is not part of the record?
No.
I offered this multiple times as part of the record, and you told me you weren't going to allow it.
I said, we'll see what happens when it comes up. I said, you can ask him.
You kept me from entering this, and you knew that I wanted to enter this. I'm indigent.
Okay.
I do not have a lot of money. I paid money that was very difficult for me to get a hold of, and I made multiple points on the record that I wanted this entered. And it's because he testifies under oath that he did not have any reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, which is a requirement for me to be convicted under this. And now I'm being told, even I offered this several times, as Exhibit H.
Show that section that you're referring to Ms. Downs. Get to that page and show that page on the transcript to Ms. Downs.
Okay, give me 1 second so I can get to the page.
Why didn't you ask him that? I mean, you asked him other questions.
Because of the redundancy of things, and it was my interpretation I was going to be allowed to enter this testimony, and that the record has been made from the first day I came in. That's all part of the record. And
It's not part of the record. It's not part of the... Okay. There's a difference, to me, there's a difference in your part of the record, because part of the record, is it in my file? Yes. Is it part of my hearing and admitted into evidence? No. Find your page.
If this is a...
Find your page on the transcript and show that to Ms. Downs.
So as you all can see, Judge Freitas eventually let me raise the discrepancy in Officer Davies' testimony, but he attempted to block me from getting that into the record and tried to act as if official testimony given under oath that was already a part of the record needed to be entered into evidence. Just play back the second section of video where he says this. It's not part of the record. It's not part of the... There's a difference, to me, there's a difference in your part of the record, because part of the record, is it in my file? Yes. Is it part of my hearing and admitted into evidence? No. So anyone reading this who is honest can see this obfuscation. First, he says it's not part of the record. This would keep me from discussing it at all in my arguments. But because it is actually part of the record, he goes on to try to reframe things, saying, there's a difference to me. There's a difference in your part of the record, because part of the record, is it in my file? Yes. So right there, he's acknowledging that the testimony is a part of the record. But then he goes on to pretend as if I need to enter this portion of the official record into evidence just to be able to talk about it. So, guys, I still need support as these cases are not over. I have a trial coming up this Friday. So please make phone calls to the Governor of Hawaii and the Attorney General of Hawaii, who needs to put a leash on his prosecuting attorneys who are engaging in malicious prosecution. The phone numbers are in the video description below. Every call helps. Please make a call. Just take, a minute, 5 minutes out of your day just to call and complain if you're sick of seeing this sort of corruption. This is the sort of thing that can help change things. Every call adds up. They hear your voice, and it makes them think twice about allowing certain things to happen. They can't just allow a complete free-for-all with their agents, because if they do, they know things are going to hit the fan, and before they know it, there's going to be people shooting them, which is why they're passing all these laws right now, trying to make more restrictions on gun ownership and things of that nature, because they're just going to tee off the wrong person. And like I've been saying, these CPS cases in particular, you cannot possibly find a thing that would make somebody more furious than to have their children messed with. I mean, everybody's heard, don't get between a mother bear and her cubs. Well, humans are no different in that respect. Your children are, you made them. And for CPS to be doing the sort of things that it's doing, and we all know most of us know what's going on there, and they're using these children in sex trafficking and things of that nature, and they're going to piss off the wrong person, and that person is going to go and just start popping these officials left and right, the ones that have been breaking rules or whatever, or who have been involved in sex trafficking. They're going to get popped. And so, what I'm doing right here is an attempt to try to get things changed peacefully. Get this stuff done without the violence. And I honestly don't think that that's ultimately how things are going to go, because they've been pushing things so far. But we have to try this, because if we don't try this, we all know what the alternative is. So, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Share this with people so that other people know what's going on, since the media won't cover it.